all in person, looking down at the lights of the city.
That is so good. I'm excited. Do you know if it's gonna broadcast from there? Or
we have to go up to the actual to the campgrounds and see if we have cell service. If we have cell service, then yes, we can broadcast.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a matter of whether or not we
cool.
can actually set up a hotspot. If we can set up a hotspot, then it's a broadcast, not a problem. And it should be. I've looked at the coverage maps for both T-Mobile and Verizon, and both of them have coverage there. So one way or another, we should have enough to actually do the broadcast. And even if we don't, we can actually pre-record it and then broadcast it at another time if we need to.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, that's so cool. We're excited.
It's going to be fun.
And the kids are excited to go out.
Well, yeah, but we still need to work on the menu. Because I was thinking, tofu and cactus.
How do your people call my people?
Yeah.
Tofu and cactus.
It was just a thought. I mean, it's out in the desert, right? Tofu and cactus?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, they don't really have tofu out in the desert, do they? And I wouldn't eat tofu anyway. That's just
and you're not allowed to cultivate the cactus.
Yeah, well, you can't destroy a saguaro, but you can take down a prickly pear, and that makes good ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to kind of work it from each angle.
Pick your battles.
Pick your battles. This cactus or not that one. But no, it should be fun. I think at this point, we're starting to see a lot of participation around the country, where people are starting to come out of the woodwork and saying, okay, we stood by too long, and now we have to act. And I'm hoping that at both the state level and the federal level, we're going to see more and more of that, to where we actually start pushing our legislators to say, you don't just get to have this job every year. We're going to. You're not entitled to this position. We will find somebody to replace you if you don't want to represent us. And I'm hoping that they're going to start getting that message. Most of them probably won't, because they already have that, self-importance thing going on. But maybe some will. Maybe, kind of. I hope.
Yeah. Like I was complaining, Senator Smith with his self-importance. He's like doing his normal whatever. One of the ladies that went up was a mom speaking against the bill and the expansion bill, and she goes, "This is my first time here and my first time speaking," and she's like, "Let me just say, I am so appalled at the way this is being handled." And she's like, "And Senator Smith, you are so rude." I was like, yeah. I was like,
and the funny thing is, that's all on video somewhere. That actually is it's on video so that people can actually pull that off and actually spread it everywhere.
He didn't even say anything. I feel like this, if someone could look up that video and like chop it up to the highlight parts where, to just sum up real nicely about how shady this whole thing is and how it went down, that would just open up, because those little clips, when they're chopped up into those little, it's almost like an ADD video, like it gets a lot more views, a lot more attention.
Yeah, if you can pick the important parts and put them into like a little collage.
Yeah, like a 30-second video of all these. Yeah, because no one's gonna. I mean, okay, I sat through the hearing, but like I was also grooming at the same time, and it was very distracting. And because I was just, usually I can listen to it and work, but I kept like, oh my God, I have to see this person's face. What are they? I just couldn't believe how everything was going on. It was just so crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's what we have to look forward to these days, is just a bunch of crap. Funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it is.
But maybe we can can change things.
Maybe. It does feel pretty hopeless right now. I'm kind of hoping that, like you said, more people are getting involved and stuff, that maybe that will counteract them thinking that this is the year these schools are going to go through and, siphon more money from our schools.
Yeah.
Because
our schools are so well funded now. that we can afford
Oh,
to drop some more
God.
money out of them.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the worst of it. I don't think I would even be as passionate. I'd still be against it, but like I wouldn't be as passionate about fighting it if they didn't already underfund and gut our schools and budgets for the last for as long as I've been here, the 10 years I've been here.
Yeah.
This has been going on.
Yeah, they've been cutting education ever
I
since.
feel, yeah, it's very different. Like people are like, oh, it's this, that. It's like, okay, but you don't know Arizona's situation. They've been how they've been screwing us out of money that we already voted on that we should have got, and then the Supreme Court, our state Supreme Court, told them twice, you need to make it right with them, because give the schools their money, and then we end up with crap 1, 2, 3, and then it's still not good.
No.
And it's just more bad, and they don't know the background. But they're like, oh, all they see is these good little terms: parents' choice, school choice, and then all the they cited over 100,000 in 6 months that were misspent funds from parents with these ESA accounts, and that was just in 6 months. I'm thinking. And they flip out if somebody on food stamps buys something like, I don't know, soda.
A burger.
Right? Like, oh my God. Yeah. Oh, it's like, but no, it's not bothering them that these people are not using these ESA accounts for actual like education.
Right.
And then they'll buy the educational supplies and then they'll return it to the store for gift cards and buy some other random stuff. At least that was cited in this audit that they did, and that's only, let's see, there's like right now there's like 3,200 kids in the program right now. Only 3,200 kids, and we're already having that big of an issue. They don't want to address that first before they try making it a bigger issue. Like clearly, they don't give a crap that people.
Well, my biggest problem with the
people
whole
spend
school
the
choice
money.
thing is that there's no oversight. So, I mean, we have legislators that are
fine.
making hundreds of $1,000s a year off these ESA and STOs. And they're the ones that are passing and supporting these bills because they're making a profit on it. And how that cannot be a violation of ethics is just beyond me.
Conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that
It
there's
is.
no
It's
real
garbage.
oversight, if they take the for-profit part of the charter schools and the private schools and stuff out of it, to where all charter schools and and private schools have to be nonprofit and have to follow the same regulations and same curriculum and same requirements as
Yep.
public schools, I might not have a problem with it. But at this point in time,
That's a point.
taxpayer money is going into corporate pockets. And we had, what was the school here, I think it was last year, the school closed the day before classes started. And
Yes,
all the money
that's
that they
right.
spent on supplies and equipment and the schools and this, that, and the other went straight into the pocketbooks of the corporation or whatever that was responsible for
Well,
it.
and then weren't they in a frenzy because
Yeah.
they didn't know where to bust the kids?
Yeah, then they didn't know what
where
to do with the
fuck
kids.
to put anybody?
So you had a whole bunch of kids that were supposed to go to school tomorrow that now didn't have a school to go to.
And you're probably paying more in
Yeah.
gas to bus them to another district or school. Wow,
It's just
ridiculous.
It's just not a good idea. I mean, people are making profits off of this when they shouldn't be. It's public it's education. Okay, we should be.
Fine, let's just have all schools online then. I mean, if this is what it's going to boil down to.
Well, the thing is, though, is if we're really going to look at it, if they're going to start having more and more ESAs and STOs and all this other stuff, then we need to start actually making some charter schools and private schools that are that are different. Okay, I guarantee you, if a whole bunch of
Yeah.
Muslim schools popped up, they would have a hissy fit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How about a couple
Oh,
of
man,
humanist
if only
schools or
they
a
could-
satanic temple school, a charter school?
I heard something about Satanic Temple School in the works, and I read that. So I think in Tucson, or was it Tucson or Phoenix? Do you remember that? Tucson
Well,
was
that's for the
yeah, but
after
no, this is
school
like an
Satan
actual
club.
School.
Yeah, that's the after school
No,
Satan clubs.
this was something.
Oh, an actual school?
Oh,
This
maybe
was a bigger-
Utah.
No, it was here.
Oh,
Maybe.
here.
Because I
It
know
was-
I know we have been talking with some people about looking into starting some non-normal or not normal some schools that would actually teach kids how to actually be productive members of society.
Not teaching
Mhm.
religion or Satanism, but basically having.
Just teaching them the
Under-
STEM and vocation.
Yeah, there you go.
So you teach STEM
Yeah.
and vocation
Basic
at
skills.
school so that they have some basic skills to fall onto, and they understand how to balance a checkbook and write bills and pay bills and do their taxes and crap like that. People don't want to do that anymore. They want to completely flood it with a bunch of crap, and then expect teachers to teach kids how to pass a test. It's just ungodly
Yeah.
that we could ever actually get to that point. But
Senator Bradley was. I love Senator Bradley. He was making that point that like when it's a for-profit school and it doesn't have to adhere to the same standards as public schools, and you mentioned, well, competition will make these things better. He's like, it's not competition when they're not being held to this. Like, the public schools have to accept everybody. The private schools can pick and choose. They don't have to have, they can decide, they can have the smaller ratio. It's a whole different game for them. You can't, that's not like he's like, it's not really a competition when they're not playing on the same field.
right, yeah.
And,
Yeah. Funny
and
how
I was
that
like,
works.
yeah, that's pretty true. Senator Miranda also spoke up and was saying that because she's like, you keep mentioning that these kids need a choice when they're going to a failing school. She's like, but these failing schools are failing because we're not funding them.
Right, yeah.
We have to adequately fund our school. And that was the first big applause. And that's when Alan was like, no, you are not clapping at him. Like, that's not allowed. You're going to have to leave. And then, of course, as soon as people are clapping for somebody speaking for it, it was a kid. She's like, I'm going to allow it for the kids. But the only kids in the room were speaking for the bill because they were shuttled in from the private schools.
Right.
Then someone was getting clapped. Somebody, I don't remember, I think it was she was off a school governing board was saying, was speaking, and they started clapping for her, and that's when Alan was like, no, you can only clap for kids, and when I say you can clap.
Yeah.
Just
So much for
crazy.
democracy.
And then, Senator Smith couldn't remember 1281 from last week. They were trying to somebody mentioned the ESA bill from last week, and they're like, yeah, we just passed one last week. Senator Smith, you remember your bill from last week? He's like, oh, I don't remember that. I'll have to look up that number. I'm like, are you serious? See, that just shows that it's not yours. You're just a
Yeah, they don't
pawn
pay
at this
attention.
point to feed it into this. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to have to
but
shut off
they-
now because we've only got about a minute left before we're out of time. So,
They're shutting off.
yeah. Well, it's the end of the show. We only have 3 hours. So, unfortunately, we could
Oh,
just
I
go
know.
on
I
and
missed
on.
the first 2 hours.
Well, everybody has life.
Yeah.
There's always next week.
So next week, we'll be back and we'll be talking about all the fun, interesting things that are going on. Hopefully you'll join us. And so we're going to go ahead and close for the evening. Thank you for listening in tonight, folks. We really appreciate it. We hope you have a good weekend and a good start to the next week. Happy Valentine's Day. Get involved, folks. That's what we all need. You have been listening to Progressive Voices of Arizona, hosted by Scott and Kara Pryor. We hope that you will join us again next week as we try to bring some interesting and lively conversation to the airwaves. It is important that people start communicating, start talking, and start treating each other as individuals with dignity. Our show begins each week at 6 p.m. Arizona time. So come on out, join us, be a part of the conversation, and let's make America change to benefit us all.